It is officially time. Mythic Odysseys of Theros has arrived, at least in digital format only on D&D Beyond. As a reminder, the books will be out in July. So I'm going to start my coverage of this brand new digital release, starting with the Races of Theros. We only got 2 new races in this book as predicted, and my original coverage saying 2 new races and 2 subclasses was accurate, so keep that in mind as we go through this. But we're going to be covering the Leonin, the lion-based race, and the Seder race. So if you want to see what those are, stay tuned. Something, it's all Greek to me. What's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here. And before we jump into this, I just wanted to take a moment real quick to talk about analytics. For the month of May, I wanted to say we actually managed to drive the not subscribed number down from over 60% to 58%. But out of the 170,000 or so people that watched in the month of May, the 58% of you that were not subscribed, if like a third of you subscribed to the channel, we'd blow past 50,000 subscribers, which, hey, that could be happening in time for my birthday on July 12th, but who knows? But that's not why you're here. You're here to look up races in Theros. So I will jump over here and show they do have a couple of races. For the humans, they didn't bother reprinting anything as it stands. They did reprint the Centaurs, the Minotaurs, and the Tritons. Originally, we were hearing they were going to be just Tritons reskinned as merfolk. Turns out they're just called Tritons in this now. And I went through and I looked at the Centaurs, Minotaurs, and Tritons, and they are exactly the same as they are in their original book, whether that be Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica or Volo's Guide to Monsters. So let's jump to the Leonin. All right, so this is, we already have our Tabaxi, which is our cat-based race, but I guess the thought process is they're going to be more of your, like, lithe type cat. But every Tabaxi I see is kind of more like a jungle cat. So I feel like a lion fits in with that. But here is a female Leonin here. You can see maneless here, and she's definitely looks more beefy, and I think that is reflected in the ability score improvements and things. I'll be honest with you, though, Leonin I'm not super pumped about. I don't think they have, like, a really cool, like, thing that makes them super unique, but you'll see. So you're going to get a constitution and a strength increase. It kind of fits the idea. It's nice that the constitution is up front because that means it's a little more versatile. You can use it with a little bit more class options than you could with if it was strength based, which is nice. Walking speed is going to be 35 feet, so a slight improvement over your standard race. You're going to have dark vision. That seems to be a standard for the course. You're going to have claws, again, similar to Tabaxi, so it's a d4 plus your strength modifier in slashing damage if you choose to instead of bludgeoning damage. You're going to get Hunter's Instincts, which is just proficiency in 1 skill, athletics, intimidation, perception, or survival. Nice that it is perception is an option on there, which is good because it's one thing you're going to want to typically try to get. And then you have your main thing that's unique to the Leonin is this Daunting Roar ability. It is a bonus action to let out a menacing roar. Creatures of your choice within 10 feet must make a wisdom save or be frightened until the end of your next turn. The saving throw is tied to your constitution, which is nice because, like every other ability, except for Dragonborn, it's tied to the ability score that you get the most in. And once you use it, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. And you can speak common and Leonin. So when I look at this, it is more or less a copy-paste in my mind of Tabaxi, but with more limitations. Or not limitations is the wrong word. It's just not, I feel like Tabaxi is better. So let's jump over here and I'll do a quick comparison. And we'll pull up Tabaxi and we'll look at the two and see what we think. So Tabaxi is going to get, +2, +1 on the ability scores. Dark vision. They're also going to get a climb speed of 20 feet on top of their baseline speed of 30 feet. They're going to get proficiency in 2 skills, which is perception and stealth. So do these guys get climbing abilities with their claws? No, they just get claws that deal damage. Tabaxi get claws that deal the exact same amount of damage, but it also gives them a climbing speed of 20 feet. Lions can climb trees, so I don't feel like that was you could put that in there. I think that would be fine. And then obviously they get the 2 skill proficiencies as opposed to the 1. They do get a slight improvement in land speed, the Leonin, but I feel like Tabaxi's feline agility beats out Daunting Roar. But, Frightened is pretty powerful, especially at low levels. So maybe I'm wrong. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And then the Satyr, first of all, one of my absolute favorite pieces of art in this book is coming up at the end of the Satyr entry. So it is a charisma race. I know a lot of people had issues with that when I had first mentioned that I thought it was going to be charisma based. People were like, we have enough charisma races. But guess what? We got one more. +2 charisma, +1 dex. Also, similar to the Leonin, they're going to have the 35-foot land speed. They are considered fey as opposed to humanoid, so something like Hold Monster will not work on them, which is something that's, again, very powerful at low levels. You would need a Hold Monster to hold them. Hold Person would not work. Anything humanoid they will be immune to, but things that specifically affect fey will affect them. There are not too many abilities, though I do believe Protection from Good and Evil, which is also a first level spell, counts for fey. And there are certain abilities like an Oath of Ancients Paladin can turn whatever it is, the Faithless or whatever, and they can choose to turn fey. They will get ram horns, so they can choose to deal a d4 plus strength modifier in bludgeoning damage hitting with their horns. But they get the big winner here in magic resistance, advantage on all saving throws against spells and magical effects. That is something we haven't seen on a race since the UNT, which is arguably considered one of the best races in the game, to the point where I know DMs that just don't allow them because of how powerful they are. But magic resistance is an always-on advantage, which is great. They also get mirthful leaps. Whenever you make a long or high jump, I like this mechanic because it's unique. Whenever you make a long or high jump, roll a d8 and add the number rolled to the number of feet you can cover when making a standing jump. So this is no movement at all, just straight up vertical jump, straight long jump. You can add potentially up to 8 feet to that, which is kind of nutty. And then it also adds the qualifier here. This distance costs movement as normal. So it doesn't let you go, as I stated in my jumping video, if you haven't seen that, that you can't, your movement speed, you can't jump. Even if you could jump more than your movement speed, you're still limited by your movement speed. And then they get Reveler, proficiency in performance and persuasion, and a musical instrument. So I think the clear winner of Theros as far as races goes is the Satyr compared to the Leonin. The only downside is the Satyrs don't get dark vision, which is something that I thought they would have gotten for some reason, more or less because every race gets dark vision. But I'll be honest with you, I'd rather have 2 skill proficiencies, a musical instrument proficiency, and advantage on saving throws versus spells and other effects rather than dark vision. I think that clearly weighs out. You're tied for land speed. You're going to be fey, so you're going to avoid a lot of low-level abilities in that respect. You have an ability that lets you deal extra damage with your unarmed strike, similar to yours is still bludgeoning with the ram, as opposed to slashing with the Leonin. But yeah, and then here's my favorite piece of art. She just looks like she is having such a good time. And this dude looks so confused. But, I'm going to go to that party. Man, she's just rocking out. Really having a good time. Look at these dudes over here playing the trumpet. And this dude, man, he is into it with the drum, man. He is ready to go. There's a food fight kind of happening. This chick's losing her mind over here. It looks like a good time, man. Look at this. We'll get a little bit closer. Her eyes are all sorts of googly and weird. But yeah, so that's it for the new races here in Mythic Odysseys of Theros. There is some really, really awesome stuff. I actually took the time to read through the entire book, which is usually something I don't do. I usually read through it pretty much as I'm going through and doing these videos. So next up, we'll be covering the subclasses. We're going to split that into 2 videos because we already received both of these subclasses. The only 2 in the book is the College of Eloquence Bard and the what is it? The Oath of Glory Paladin. So we received both of those in Unearthed Arcana. So they're each going to get their own video because I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison to see what changed. And honestly, a lot did. So you're going to want to check out those videos because there's a lot to go over there. There is one new background I'll be doing. And there's this really cool concept of supernatural gifts tied into character creation. I really like it. It's definitely not going to be for everybody's campaigns, but I think it's pretty cool. So hope you all enjoyed that. I am planning on going through this like I do, and then monsters later on and magic items. There's a lot of really cool stuff. Like I said up front when I was doing all the early coverage, I know nothing about the world of Magic the Gathering. I played a little bit of Alpha way back in the day when it first came out, and I never really played Magic beyond that. So I don't really know much about it. I know that the new Magic set that came out, which I guess is Theros, has Godzilla as like a monster card in it, and I definitely want to kind of like, I almost makes me want to start playing because I want to be able to play with Godzilla. I just think that that's really fun. So, you know, if there's anything you specifically think I should check out, I'll be going through the gods because there's a piety system that I also really like. And I'll be talking about in that video how you can kind of use that to help empower your own games, because I have a lot of really cool ideas based on that. I'm very excited about this book. I'll be honest, I was super lukewarm on this book when it was first coming out, but the other resources for campaign building and stuff are just epic. Plus, like, I could maybe run a Percy Jackson kind of game now with these rules, and I'm very excited about that too. So yeah, anyway, stay tuned. Lots of cool stuff coming. So, thank you again to my patrons over on Patreon for continuing to support me. And if you haven't checked out the channel and subscribed yet, I would appreciate it if you did so. But you also may want to ring that notification bell, as I will be putting out a bunch of this content over the next couple of days. And it may not be on a typical upload schedule. I'm probably just going to start putting them out as soon as I can finish filming them so that you guys can all get to this content as soon as possible. Let you know whether or not you want to pick it up. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.